Hello, Cancer Warriors. My name is Tonya, and this is Power Pantaloons podcast. Today with us, we have Susan. Welcome to the program, Susan.
Hi, Tanya. I'm so grateful and thankful and happy to be here with you today.
I'm excited to have you. So, why don't you tell the audience what it is that you do?
All right. So in 2019, when COVID happened, I had 3 months out of work and I did a course called Self Coaching Scholars through this woman, Brooke Castillo. And through that, they offered a life coach certification program, which I did, which was 1 year long, and opened up a whole nother world for me. It was a community of like-minded business women who were strong and confident and helping other women create the same. I was completely enthralled in it. I did it every day. I woke up, instead of going to work, I worked on myself. Um, it was extremely difficult, trying, and frustrating and heartbreaking at times. Um, Through my education, I discovered and was diagnosed with ADHD at a late age, and worked through all of those things. I run a small group of like-minded women where I coach out in nature, kayaking, yoga, meditation, um, self-care basically, and just self-love, because women are just the most amazing, intelligent, strong, beautiful, creative, heartfelt humans, and offer them support in their life as a real person and cheerleader for them, basically. I don't want to be too lengthy, but
I,
go ahead.
I want to hear about the healing in nature. That
Mhm.
is super. I I think that calls to everybody, right? Like there's the Japanese talk about forest bathing, and when you go into nature, there is a energetic shift when you're out where there's nobody else or very few people.
Yes. Like my favorite thing to do is walk on the beach in the off season. I go all year long except summer when people are there, and you're alone on the beach, and it changes, and it is scientifically proven that the ionization in the salt air changes your mood and your energy. Um, but how many people get the time to take to just be alone on the beach? Unless you, I mean, I get up at sunrise and I go there. Um, it is just amazing to be out in nature and to see it, but it's so difficult to stop and put yourself in that position. So when you create a group and say, hey, this is, I'm going to lead this hike, or I'm going to lead this kayak, and it's $11 or $22, come join a bunch of like-minded people and do some healing out in nature along with some exercise, because when you move your body, different things happen, and out in that environment, people are freer to be themselves. But
Absolutely.
mhm,
I I only live 40 minutes from the beach, and I agree with you. I like to not be down there in the summer because it's ridiculous, but in the off season and at night, I like to go down there at night and walk on the beach and just dip my toes into the freezing water because it gets real cold here in Jersey.
mhm.
But it's amazing.
It is. And I work a lot around fear, because I feel like fear stops most of us from basically anything that we want to achieve or do or feel. Um, so my fear was, swimming in the ocean, but I've always wanted to be able to swim in the ocean freely and feel the salt water and the waves and the freedom of not feeling scared. So last year I spent one full year going to the beach and exercising and running around and dancing to 80s music and whatever I could do, jumping jacks, to make me hot enough and energetic enough. And then I would dive in the ocean. And this, 48-degree water, whatever. But I was fully clothed. I had shoes on, I had socks, I had long pants, I had a long shirt, and I would do this over and over and over. And I would feel the fear and do it anyway, to try to get myself used to knowing that we can feel fear and do it, and then feel the amazing other side of it. Instead of fearing fear itself and spending all that time, we do it, move on, and grow and get stronger.
I agree. Mindset is the key to everything. Everybody who listens to me more than once, and I say this all the time. The Henry Ford quote: "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Because
Oh, I love that one. I'm adding that to my quotes.
I it it's my favorite, and then my second favorite is a Steve Harvey quote, and that one is, "Somebody else's opinion of me is none of my business." So like,
So good. So
because
good.
we spend a lot of time
Ah,
being afraid of what other people say, what other people think. We would be really, really surprised to know they don't care. They're not thinking about you. They don't, they just don't care. Like, not that people don't care about each other, but like
no, they
they're
don't.
so
And
wrapped
they're
up
feeling the same things. They're so wrapped up in themselves that they don't
that
have
they're
time.
not paying attention to what you're doing that at all.
No. And the thing is, whatever anyone thinks of you, you're never going to hear it anyway. It's just a story that you make up. You could just as easily make up one that they think you're amazing.
Yes, exactly. And
But
that goes hand in hand into why this platform is called Power Pantaloons, and that is your mindset. Where while I was going through my journey every day, I imagined that I was putting on Wonder Woman's underwear, because Wonder Woman doesn't die.
it's amazing. It truly is. It works, right? It works. It truly does. And unfortunately, when we're in a position of of illness or pain, we are at such odds with our inside that we need to reach for something. And because we're in that state, we are able to focus our attention and create a mindset and gain a strength
Yeah.
that
So go on.
mm, it just, I'm in awe of you, what you do, what you've created, what you continue to do, because this shit is not easy,
No.
right? It's not easy. But you have so much love in your heart and so much insight and so much to give that you keep going
Yeah.
and you keep doing, right? At this point, so since from 2019 to 2023, I learned and grew so much becoming a life coach. And we live it. And that's what makes it so amazing, this coaching industry, right? What you do, what I do as a healer for other women, to
Mm.
empower them, to console them, and to most of all let them know that you are not alone.
Yeah.
Like, you can say anything to a coach and there is no judgment, there is no ill-willed feelings. Like all coaches want to do is
And
give
help.
good and help, but they do it in a way that is not enabling.
Right.
They do it in a way that is empowering.
Right. Teaching you the tools to help yourself.
Right. Because
Yeah.
we study this shit every day, right? Like we are surrounded by this. Our emails and our inboxes are loaded with information and education on mental health, on coaching, on self-care, on all of the things to contribute to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we do this no matter what's going on in our own personal lives.
yeah. So the interesting thing is from 2019 to 2023 that I this is what I did. I was building my business. I finally got some paying clients. Um, I was getting momentum. I was learning technology. I was posting when I didn't want to post. I was um, yoga, meditation, involved in the community. And then all of a sudden, I crashed and I stopped. And I actually wrote in my journal, I am quitting this for today, not forever, but just today. And I got to tell you, my life took a downhill turn. And with complete transparency, I admitted myself to a psychiatric hospital. And I did it out of desperation because I was so fearful to communicate and say what it is that I feel inside of me, and to believe that that is true and that is okay, even if what I am deciding is going to hurt some people.
And how are you
And
now?
I am going through the thick of it because I also am learning and seeing, because when I admitted myself, they told me you don't really need to be here. Um, but I was there for 48 hours observing and seeing and living in the community of mental illness, and was present to be able to help and also help myself. Um, but I just had to put to sleep my soulmate dog of 16 years. And
Nice.
that's been, God, girl, you're an animal lover, right? I
Ooh,
know. Mm, wow. That's
that's,
intense. This is
I,
intense.
it is. The morning I got up to go in for round 2 of chemo, I had to put down my 18-year-old
Oh,
cat.
oh,
That was that
goosebumps
was that
over
was a
my
shitty
body.
day.
Goosebumps over my entire body.
That was
Right?
the worst day of my life,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
It was sucky.
It it is traumatic.
Yeah, yeah. Like people think it's kind of weird or crazy, but for those of us that love animals,
Oh,
they're like children.
I have goosebumps over my entire body for me and for you right now. Like, I don't know that I've ever felt this amount of pain. And also in a beautiful way. Like he had a beautiful passing. Like
Yeah,
made a sheet. The sheets that they carry kids with, they sell them at the store. They're $50. I bought one at a thrift store, a sheet. My sister and I, we cut it, we YouTubed how to wrap it, and I wrapped him in me and I swaddled him the last days of his life. And I took him for walks in the woods and I sobbed ugly fucking cries, like
yeah, of
hotter than
course.
ever. And I held him in that while they put him to sleep, and I played him classical music, and he was never at any kind of discomfort.
Yeah,
And it was amazing. It was beautiful and amazing. And my husband and I sobbed. And what came through that, and with my training of life coaching, is at a vulnerable moment like that, the emotions that are created between two people who, generally speaking, heterosexual men of the age of 50, are trained to not feel any emotion. So the intensity of that emotion between us created conversation for other wounds and
Yeah.
past things that needed to be discussed. So vulnerability, authenticity, and truth really rears its head in the time of pain, if
Yeah.
you allow it.
So can I share something with you?
100%. I would love it for you to share something with me.
So I think that Samantha chose the time that she chose very intentionally, um,
Mm,
because
yep.
after I put her down, I went in and it took an ER nurse 45 minutes to get an IV in my body, and I almost left. Like it was that close. And after she managed it, I went into, like, they took me to my room and I was laying there and there was an indentation, a warm indentation on my pillow. And there was that warm, beautiful, purry indentation on my pillow each and every time that I had to go inpatient. And I thought I was going to be absolutely devastated by her passing. And I was comforted by it because I feel that she was with me it in the hospital where she thought I needed her more. And
Mm,
then after I was let out of the hospital, that discharged from the hospital that final day, I haven't had that presence since. So she's off doing Rainbow Bridge stuff. They they're with us when they need to be with us, and they leave when they leave. And maybe the gift that you were given was that deeper communication with your partner.
sure. 100%. Agree with you 1,000,000%. So he's been, he was slowly, leaving. He had cancer, but I don't believe in investigating anything further as far as testing or putting him to sleep or finding anything, because I believe if you search for something, you'll find it. It's probably not the best attitude, and but that's how I feel. Like I feel like if something is going to take me or him, that that is my time, and that's dying naturally. I Very controversial. I know. And I think that's a lesson for me, um in another way. But there, there is some things when he died, I vowed that a lot of things about me that I don't care for would die with him.
Yeah,
And I am walking the path of not getting another dog to replace this distance between my husband and I in my relationship, and working towards heading face first into it without any responsibilities or attachment as he was, because we were caring for him together as a geriatric patient.
yeah. So I want to go back a second to
Yeah.
you know I want to go back a second.
Oh, I love that you want to go back.
I advocate hard on going for your annual checkups and doing all of the things that you're supposed to do. Um,
Oh,
Not necessarily investigating for the sake of investigating, but but you need to do it. Uh,
Yes.
2.5 weeks ago, I went for my annual PAP, and a week and a half ago, I went for my annual mammo. 2 days ago, I got a response on the mammography, and there are two spots that they are concerned about, and they're ordering additional testing. So I firmly believe that you need to go get your testing done, and you need to do it when you're supposed to do it, or when you intuitively know that you need to do it. Like there are medical guidelines on when you're supposed to do your
Yes.
testing.
I agree with that 100%. Yes.
And so do your annual testings because they are super important. Obviously, I'll keep everybody updated on what goes on. The doctor's office has called me to let me know that they are mailing me a prescription for the recommended things, which were a diagnostic mammogram and an ultrasound. I believe that ultrasounds are much more efficient at discovering cancer. I'm not sure why we're still doing mammos, but that's a conversation probably for a different day.
Mm.
Um, so as a cancer survivor, I'm sitting here, with an abnormal test result. This is not the first time I've received an abnormal mammo. Last time was about 6 or 7 years ago, and it just was a rowdy lymph node. So
Right.
we're gonna go into this with a positive mindset. I have lost 75 pounds in the last year and a half, so my tissue has changed. There's more dense. So it could just be, uh, um, but there's a spot in each of the breasts. So I'm not sure if it's in the same spot or if it's a thing or what it
Mm.
is.
Mhm.
And I'm
And
not going to put the
when will you
cart
go?
before the horse. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right. When will you go?
I have to get the prescription before I can make the follow-up appointment.
Mm.
But where I go, I can usually get an appointment within a week. So
Okay.
I'm not spazzing like I did the last time this happened, because the last time this happened, the doctor recommended that I go see an oncologist. And to get an appointment with an oncologist is like an act of Congress. If you're not already on their
Yes.
books,
Yes.
that they don't have time for you.
Okay.
So my doctor was like, make the appointment and call me back, and then I'll call their office to move your appointment up. And I'm like, okay, all right, we could do that. So yeah, so that's where I'm sitting right now.
It just makes
And
me so sad, right? That you have to wait and the stress that you go through. I'm happy that you you have such a beautiful, amazing attitude and knowledge of science and Western medicine and how it works. But I think it just frustrates me so much that all the hoops that you have to go through to receive that care.
well, it frustrates me too, but you know, having had cancer before, I know what the possibilities are, right? Like I've walked that journey, and that is both a blessing and a horror story all at the same time, because breast cancer is completely different than uterine cancer. And when I walked through my journey, I was super grateful that I had uterine cancer and not breast cancer, because of lymphedema and because of I just so many different things, aside from the fact that your uterus is not outside of your body. People don't see it. People don't know when it's missing.
Right. And I also think, there's a couple of things and a couple of reasons why I believe those things. Because there's things that I do that are like smoking. I've been trying to quit smoking for like 20 years, right? I've done everything. I recently just quit for a week. I made it through the death of my dog and went to go visit my sister and started all over again. And my husband and my sister were both like, "Oh, you'll do it again." But it takes so much for me to do it. And I was just so crushed and I was just like, okay, whatever. But so I think that's one. I think that I know that I don't treat my body the way that I should. So maybe there's fear there, ironically, that I don't want to look for anything that I know that I'm causing. Also, like living everyday life with a neurodivergent brain is very like it's taxing, right? So
Yes. Mhm.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, and like I said in the beginning, like I want to just be transparent with you, and real, one woman to
Yeah.
the next about what we go through, right?
Yeah.
And you know, my admiration for you, even more so now than the beginning of the conversation, because that's what I wanted the conversation to be about was my gratefulness and admiration for you, because what you've been through and what you continue to do just on this platform alone, this is the only platform I know you on, um, is truly amazing and um, a gift
Thank you.
to your clients, to me.
Thank you. I, you know, um, everybody has their own bucket of poo that they have to deal with. Um,
That was a
what
beautiful way to put it.
I mean, that's really what it is, right?
It is.
Uh,
It is.
growth opportunities, we could call it that, right? Because as humans, we don't move out of our comfort zone if we don't have to, unless we're forcing ourselves to. Um, and we end up with situations, you know, and we grow through them. And everybody has their own battles and struggles. Mental health battles are just as serious as physical health ones.
Anything else? I agree 100%. And interesting, the state that I work in is a very small state, Providence, Rhode Island. And the hospital that I went to is like known as like, the Betty Ford, that everybody knows Betty Ford, right? Like it's a scary place. No one wants to talk about it. I was out and everyone was like, hush, hush. And I went in and I was like, listen, yeah, I did this and I'm not ashamed of it. I was going to snap. I was going to ask for a divorce. And instead, I chose to like lock myself away so I couldn't say the words. And it's menopause and it's real. But, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
perception that you get from that when you're like real and just true and like unashamed and unembarrassed and, don't give a poop.
Well, I that is part of the glory of becoming an older woman, right? The give a poop meter gets drastically shorter. um Drastically shorter. But you know, having just developing coping mechanisms, dealing with menopause, it's just the hormonal imbalance. Like I had instant menopause. Most women get, like the lengthened one. Mine happened at
Right.
38
That's
when they
like,
just
that's like being induced for a child, right? Normal natural labor takes its course, takes its time. The child comes out when it's ready. Instead, they give you Pitocin and you're like right in it. So that's got to be crazy.
um I have to admit, like my I was 38 and I didn't end up with any hot flashes. Um, and somehow I managed to control my hormones. I was drinking a lot of soy milk at the time, which is horrible, right? Like I do not recommend. And it's
Right.
not because of the taste; it's because of like soy is it produces estrogen, and my cancer is an estrogen based cancer. Like it was not the right move, but somehow it managed to be the right move for the time. Um, but you know, like I had it real easy when it comes to menopause. I did not have it real easy when it came to cancer. So I think maybe it balanced.
There's a scale, right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Um, but yeah, so like people don't like we as women we're judged on the hormones. Like oh, you're just being hormonal. Like it's super insulting because like we're just being ourselves, right? Because we're always in some variation of that hormone cycle.
Sure.
And it's gaslighty when people say stuff like that to women.
It is. And it's also easy for women to blame themselves for it. Oh, it's my hormones. Oh, it's me. Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that.
Yeah.
It's super easy to do that and to alleviate the pressure from the other person and to alleviate the,
Yeah,
vulnerability of your authenticity.
absolutely. It's yeah, it's definitely a thing.
My overview and my um gratitude about coaches, and not that I am, I do believe, at certain times you do need therapy as well as coaching. But in my, opinion and my dealings with, hundreds of coaches from all over the world, they are always on time. They are always on your side. They are always your own personal cheerleader. They are your accountability partner. They are your idea giver, your dream believer in, your push up the hill that you need. And it's a community with just the most relatable, truthful people who walk the talk and educate themselves daily, and they
Always learning.
always learning. So thank you for giving me a lifeline back into this world, because without it my heart doesn't shine, my lights out, and I it's not who I am. So I know everything is going to go well for you.
And for you, right? Like put it out there. You know the steps. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Mindset comes first. Now that you're here, now that you're back, start setting your goals.
Yeah.
Set your mind, and you
And
know where I'm
I'm
at.
gonna start small, I'm gonna journal for 10 minutes, read 5 to 10 pages a day of the book that I like,
Yeah,
and 5 minutes of meditation or yoga or some sort of moving my body. Small, small things, is
absolutely. And those small things are exactly the kind of things that I recommend to
yes.
anybody that's going through a journey, whether it's a cancer journey, a mental health journey, a chronic illness journey, or just a shitty
It's
week.
small little minutes of doing the same things every day, even though you don't want to.
Well, right. So it's telling yourself that you can put your mind to doing something and then do it, like so that you are dependable and you're reliable.
Yeah.
When you
Self-trust.
do these things, it's not for everybody else. It is for you. So when you tell yourself that you're going to do the journaling and then you do the journaling, it boosts your confidence, and your mind is like, oh yes, we're doing this now, and it makes it easier to do it the next time and the next time and the next time.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, and what I'm learning too, in addition with ADHD, is I am consistently inconsistent and I have grandiose ideas. And the more the lack of my estrogen, the synapses to my dopamine, I want more and more dopamine. And I want to do crazy things, different things. So the everyday doing the monotonous things that are good for you, not the monotonous sweeping, vacuuming, cleaning, cooking, people pleasing shit. What I got from that is I'm doing this for me.
I, you know, just this morning decided I was going to take a different view on the monotonous chores. Let's start calling them quests. Like I'm gonna give myself quests for the day, things that have to get done. That I'm gonna do a side quest, of dishes, and then and then but there'll be fun quests too, right? Like cooking dinner can be really a beautiful thing, and especially when you're viewing it as a ritual to nourish your body, and you're putting good ingredients in it, and then you put your spices in it and your spell work, right? Like whatever love that you're putting in it. So now that's a good quest, like that's a fun quest, because you get to choose the ingredients, and you get to choose the spices, or choose
Right.
the recipe, right? So and if you so I've decided I'm just going to make it, everything is going to be a quest.
I love it.
We'll see how that goes.
Right. I'll think about you tomorrow because those quests are generally not my favorite. But I mean, there's such a balance, right, between everything, everything. Like
Yes.
want to have fun all the time. You want to, then you got to, do your work all the time and do the work in between, and make it all happen, and then regulate it in your mind. Is this okay enough to take this time away to do what I need to do because it fulfills me? um,
So it is super important to have grace for yourself.
mhm.
And spoon theory is a reality for a lot of people. I only have X number of spoons today,
Oh,
and
I
that
love the spoon theory.
and then tomorrow that number might be different. Like you don't have the same number of spoons, and you have to allocate your spoons appropriately. And sometimes the normal being an adult thing costs lots of spoons. Like it might take 5 spoons to take that shower. For sure, while I was going through chemo, it was more like 17 spoons to take that shower. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, because you don't know where they're at, right? And neurospicy is a thing, but everybody is different, and what they can accomplish in a given day changes based on the day for everybody, for everybody. So just allow yourself some grace. And on the days where you get a bucket full of spoons, get everything done that day, right? Like, but on the
Yeah.
day you
My
wake
first
up and
thought
you
was
have
like,
four
give them all away.
spoons, you have 4 spoons the next day,
Yep.
allocate them where you need them to be, and don't judge yourself based on how other people's lives appear to be, because I promise you they are just as hot messy as yours.
Oh my God, 100%, 100%.
And they're running around with their sporks too.
Yeah,
Combat spoons.
I love it.
Well, Susan, it has been absolutely wonderful
Oh,
having you on the show today.
oh, so good to talk to you. good things are going to happen for you.
You
And I
too.
truly believe that. And me too. And I'm grateful for you. And
Thank
I
you
look
very
forward
much.
to listening to podcasts and talking to you another time.
Yes. Until next time, Cancer Warriors, go get your annual test done.
Mhm.